Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cold Feet Podcast. And I have the privilege to have today, straight from, where did you fly in from?
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles, the one and only Ty, who is the CEO and founder of Grounds. Grounds is a shoe company, which Ty will be telling us out shortly, which is not only a barefoot and minimalist natural footwear company, but it has a grounding plug on it. Now, before you start getting all hocus and pocus on us and saying what's grounding and what's earthing, which is exactly what we're going to explain on this podcast, we actually did a test and checked if the earth patch that I have in the garden is grounded, and we checked if this ice bath is grounded, and both are. So we're going to dive into today what is grounding, how does it benefit from us, and how can we actually ground through our bodies or through different shoes or different devices. So Ty, can you please introduce yourself and just tell us more about you?
Absolutely. So again, my name is Ty. I started this company a couple years ago. I've always been an advocate of healthy living. I think in our circles, it's called maybe biohacking.
It is Ben Greenfield,
Right.
baby.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what we're doing now is basically,
Definitely biohacking. Yeah.
biohacking. I do this not every day. I wish I could. I don't live that close to the beach, but I'm at the beach in Los Angeles, which is freezing year round, and I'm winter, summer, what have you. I'm in the water doing this. So actually, I mean, we're supposed to be talking here for like 30 minutes. I think I can do it. I think I can do it.
Chilling. So our record in the ice bath is 90 minutes.
90 minutes.
Where we did a podcast in tactical development, and there's so much to say about the IDF is doing it all wrong. And then we had a guy who's like, he's a marathoner, and he's like, he lost like 100 kilo, and he's like the ultimate beast, and he lasted 3 seconds.
3 seconds.
So like, there's a very high standard to beat, but there's also a very low rough. There's a low minimum. So
I'm doing okay.
You're chilling. You're
I'm
chilling.
doing
Out,
okay.
yeah.
All right. That's good. So I'll tell you a little bit about my story, right? I mean, how like this all started, or what do you want me to start?
So I would love for you to tell us, a teeny bit of your background, and then you can tell us what drove you to start a minimalist footwear company that also has grounding abilities.
Sure. Okay. So I mean, my background is in health and not fitness, but more the food side of it.
Mhm.
I studied food science
Mhm.
and nutrition. That's my major in school. Initially, I had a food company. It was an energy bar. We made energy bars, all natural, nothing. I mean, no grains, no sugar. It was completely 100% natural. And then we evolved, over the years to some other things, and we ended up here. How did I end up with making shoes and grounding? So, I mean, it starts with kind of personal health story, which I think many of us have, in a sense, right? I was diagnosed when I was about 20. I was diagnosed with Crohn's. For people that don't know, Crohn's is an intestinal condition. It's an inflammatory condition. Nobody knows what the cause is. I mean, there's a trigger to it. Nobody knows why and how it starts. But I decided to do a lot of research. And through research, I found that the best way to treat this, other than medication, of course, which medication always just kind of coats the problem, as we know, in
Western
many
medicine.
cases.
Yeah.
The best way to deal with this is by eating well, by eating a certain specific diet, which I don't know if you want me to get into. It's not really related, but it's the actual diet. And I've been following this diet. It's very similar actually it's called a specific carbohydrate diet. I basically don't eat sugar. Well, we all know today to be healthy. I started about 20 years ago.
When fats were considered the devil.
Right. No, so my diet is full of fat, full of protein, full of vegetables, not too many fruits. Some usually berries, the small ones. No sugar. Of course, when I'm on vacation, I cheat. I'm not the
You're
same.
a human being.
I'm a human being, right? Anyways, so stemming from there, I've always been interested in health and ways to reduce inflammation. And through research and I stumbled upon that the concept of grounding. I mean, shoes was not the concept to begin with. It was grounding. And grounding is closely related to a reduction in inflammatory response.
It's been proven, by the way.
Proven,
like
right, in
actual
research.
science case studies. Yes.
I'm a little disappointed that there's not enough science there, and then it's not as well known by people as it should be. Because I think it's a new frontier in a sense. So I started practicing it for myself, and then it just evolved. I'm at the beach all the time. I go barefoot as much as I can, of course, but then, I figured, okay, how do I ground myself more? Now, before our, this video, you asked me about grounding sheets, right? Grounding blankets and all that stuff. Those are good. I mean, they're all great. I mean, as long as you're grounding yourself with the wire to the ground, the effect is similar. But I wanted something that, we're walking all day. We're on our feet, all right? I mean, at the office, these are places that are very hard to ground in because, natural environments, right? We have synthetic flooring or just flooring that's just not grounding in any way. Right?
We live in a society that almost is detrimental to our health.
It is. I mean, we're with the phone. The phone is us, on ourselves in our pocket the whole day.
Bluetooth headsets,
which I don't use.
Yeah.
I don't use even when I have the phone in my pocket. Most times I put it on airplane mode. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's better than not having it on airplane mode. Yeah, so I just looked, on the market, and I figured, okay, there's no. I think the connection was made between shoes and grounding. Is I wanted to shoe for myself. I just wanted to shoe. I mean, I think most of us.
Let's start a company because we find a niche that we want that doesn't exist yet.
Right. And from what I saw, I mean, there were some products out there, but nothing fit what I wanted. I mean, there's sandals. I'm not going to mention any other brand names, but I mean, there's sandals that are grounding. There's other shoes that are supposedly are grounding. I just couldn't find something that fit the entire package. There was a package deal in a sense. So I took a concept of, a very traditional shoe that exists for 100 years, and I tweaked it a little bit. I redesigned it in a sense. I mean, I didn't invent the shoe. The shoe is nothing. It's all natural. The shoe is made of leather.
It's beautiful.
Right. It's good for your feet. It's there's nothing synthetic in it. Nothing. I mean, in a sense, it's natural. It's a natural shoe. The vegans amongst us might say, it's a product, an animal product.
I don't think you can please everyone.
Right. Hopefully, in the future, we'll find. I've been looking for a material that's vegan but also natural. And at the moment, I think with the science that we have and technology that we have, there isn't anything that's fitting at the moment. At least what I'm looking for. So we decided to go with leather. We made these leather shoes. We redesigned them so most of our shoes today are pointy. Right? I mean, if you look at your shoe right now, the audience, right now, if they look down at their shoes, they'll find that most of them are pointy. Now, and we've grown accustomed to it. I mean, this is the normal shape that we're looking for. When we look at a shoe that's not this shape, we find it weird, like our brain can't wrap around it, in a sense. So I'm trying to explain to people that our natural shape, the natural shape of the foot is basically the same shape as your hand. I mean, it's a splayed type of shape. It goes like this, it doesn't go like this. So we developed our shoes to look like your foot, in a sense. I mean, there's many wide toe box shoes companies out there. We're another one. What we're doing is we're bringing grounding and natural elements to the shoe, in addition to what we consider or we believe that is the optimal shape, of a shoe. Letting your feet be natural in the natural state, feel the ground, and ground at the same time.
Yeah, I totally love. First of all, when I got the shoe, the first impression that I had when I pulled it out of the bag was you even see the stitching. Like, it gives a very, if you can call synthetics like X, the shoe is Y. It's a total opposite end spectrum of any of like the artificial materials. It smells like it was freshly slaughtered from the cow, like freshly skinned from the buffalo.
Right.
And it's cool. The copper plug is a really cool addition. And even though there are many barefoot shoe brands out there, I feel that you are bringing something new to the table, because there's I can count on my fingers on one hand how many companies promote the fact that their shoes are grounding and how many can actually back it up. And you just backed it up for me. So that's the first.
Thank you. Yeah, and another also, so you mentioning the rivet, the copper rivet, there's another element to copper being very healthy for your body. Well, here we go.
Copper ring
right there. So there's again many studies and many beliefs, that copper is good for us. So that's another element to the shoe. So we try to take all these elements and combine them in one product as best as we could.
I think copper is similar to, let's say, color therapy, which is what I have in my sauna. It's not something that's backed by all science, but there is studies in it, and the same thing with this grounding cord until now. When there's something that's what we call either pseudoscience or not fully backed, I'm much more likely as a biohacker to try it as long as it doesn't harm me. Right? If someone tells me lick dirt from the floor, it will increase your intestinal bacteria.
You do it.
As long as I don't get sick, I'll do it. And if someone tells me walk barefoot and step on poop, as long as I don't get sick, I'll do it. And guess what? Because I have a strong immune system, I don't get sick. So I'm much more likely to do things which are probable or possibly benefit for my health as long as they don't harm me or the others around me.
Absolutely. And speaking of eating dirt, I think that's an amazing idea. Kids do it all the time, or they used to do
Eat their boogers. Yeah.
Eat dirt. I mean, as long as it's natural, eat it.
Yeah.
And not, of course, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, my dog and rabbit, they've been eating dirt for quite a while now. They're doing something right.
They're doing something right. Oh, and one more thing. So, back to grounding.
Yeah.
Talking about dogs, I mean, they walk barefoot all day long.
Bare paw.
Bare paw, right? Bare paw. They're grounding consistently as long as we let them walk on grounding materials. If you touch your dog, and he's touching the ground, you're also grounding.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you have a leash that's grounding, you can also ground.
That's true too. If you touch this tree right now, I mean, we're grounding because we have a cable, but like holding this grounds us. You know this.
Yeah. The expression tree hugger is really something else.
Absolutely.
Tree huggers are doing it right.
Absolutely.
Now I want to really dive into the grounding world. So I loved your intro. I very much appreciate you doing. Thanks so much for spending a Friday afternoon chilling with me.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, hell yeah, very exciting. When I said ice bath and you got really excited, I had a feeling there was another layer to you that I didn't know yet, and I just discovered it. Biohacker, cold exposure. I'm liking what I'm hearing.
Absolutely.
So, can you explain what grounding is? Because we didn't really explain that yet.
Right, that's a great question because I feel like there's a lot of talk about grounding. Even when I describe grounding to people, or when I tell them I have a grounding shoe, they're saying, "Oh, grounding, like doing yoga." No. They see it differently. They don't understand like the technical or the physical aspect of it. They think it's a concept, like a spiritual concept.
Right. And
So
it is.
sure.
And it is.
Right, exactly. I was
100%.
going to say, 100%. There's a spiritual concept to grounding as well. But it's like we've proven, and you'll show it once you edit the video. You'll show what we did outside of the pool. Grounding is basically taking a vessel, a conductive vessel, or grounding. Okay, I'll explain it. I think the simplest way.
Simplest layman's terms.
An outlet in the wall.
Yes.
Right in your kitchen is connected to a grounding element. Why? If there's a surcharge in the electric system in the house, you want. I mean, it's a safety feature. What it does, it takes a charge from anything that conducts electricity and dissipates it. It just neutralizes the current. It takes it, pulls it from the receptacle, from that whatever object is being charged, and just takes the charge and
puts it in the ground. And the ground can dissipate it, right? The ground disperses it.
Right, dissipate it, yeah. Just neutralize it, basically neutralize the ground. Takes it from usually, there's a charge. In our bodies, for example, the charge is more positive. The Earth has a negative charge. There's an accumulation of electrons.
It doesn't balance each other
right,
out.
and because the Earth has such a huge, basically unlimited pool of negative electrons, it takes all that positive charge, just pulls it and neutralizes it. It just absorbs it into the ground. That's basically what grounding is. Taking a charge from anything that's charged up with the current or any type of voltage, neutralizing it into the ground. That's basically all it is.
Right. So it's based for those who aren't fancy electricians or just don't understand what we're talking about. All grounding is, and we're not even talking about humans yet. Our body is just another vessel that could conduct electricity. Is you're taking the electricity within your refrigerator or body or dog, and you're putting it in the ground.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
We're basically a receptacle for charges. We're an electrical being. In essence, we're made of electricity.
Circuits, neurons. Yeah.
Right. Everything that's running through our bodies, our nerves, work with electricity.
Correct.
So when we're affecting our bodies with currents, in our daily life, we're basically messing up that, the charges, that are found in our bodies, and grounding supposedly neutralizes it, puts us in our natural state. In a sense, that's the idea.
When let's say we flex our elbow, so while we are automatically able to do it, what's actually happening is that our brain is sending neurons to the bones, muscles, ligaments, and tendons to fire up. The term "fire up" we associate with electricity, which means that our whole body is electric.
Right.
Now, before we dive into grounding products and grounding in earth and grounding the shoes without shoes, what are the health benefits of grounding? I know there's a lot of studies that also disprove it. So what are the known health benefits?
Right. So the known, I think for me, the biggest one in my personal case, and I think for everybody, is inflammation. Grounding is maybe the strongest anti-inflammatory
Agreed.
tool that's found in existence. I mean, I was gonna say, we were created in a sense to be in touch with the ground. We're meant to walk barefoot. We're meant to touch the ground and be one with the ground in a sense. And there's an electrical connection there. At least I believe it. I mean, I just think we evolved touching the ground, and what we're doing now, by wearing shoes that are not grounding, plastic, rubber, anything that's not
Non-conductive.
right or insulating. In other words, we're detaching ourselves from that primal element that we were that we
That
evolved
meant
with.
to do, yes.
Right, that we evolved with in a sense. So just take me back. What was it? The question?
So the question was, what is grounding? And then we tapped into what are the health benefits
the
of
health
grounding.
benefits of grounding. Right.
So you were speaking about lowering inflammation. That's been proven, by the way.
Right.
And
Another one is recovery. So a lot of athletes, especially in your field, I mean, there are some studies that were done on
the
athletes.
cyclists,
On
Tour de France.
cyclists?
That's the
Right.
only research study that was done on elite level athletes.
Right, and they found in that research that
They
the
recover.
recovery is much faster. So that's the second one, in my opinion.
To clarify on that one, so anybody like me could just, sleep on the ground or sleep in bed and be like, hey, I'm feeling better the next day. In order to prove a scientific study, not that every scientific study needs to be proven. If your Crohn's is gone and my eczema is
Right.
gone, then it's saying something about grounding as individuals.
Right.
But they took Tour de France athletes who are elite cyclists, and the whole team slept on grounding mats at night, and they noticed that their ability to pedal more every day was improving than years where they didn't ground. That's a scientific case study. That would be the difference in you and me just going about it.
Right, exactly. And the third one, in my opinion, is helps with blood viscosity. So
Like blood flow and circulation.
Flow, right? Flow and circulation. What it does, it acts in a sense like like an aspirin. Right? Aspirin thins out your blood. So this, I don't know if it thins out your blood, but it definitely makes it more viscous. So it allows it to flow through your veins much more freely. So I would say those are the main three. I'm getting a little cold.
Yeah, still have the sauna coming. Move around a tiny bit. Okay, you can get more comfortable, switch positions so you don't freeze up.
You wanna try?
It's nice, it's nice.
So those are the main three ones that I would say are the biggest.
So we got
benefits.
reducing inflammation, we got increased recovery, and we got increased blood flow. I've also been researching quite a lot into it because I'm not like a PhD scientist yet, but I really like researching stuff. That's I'm a teacher, I'm an educator, and I wanna back up what I believe in. And I've seen improved sleep for many people. I've seen reduced cortisol, reduced stress for grounding.
Absolutely, yeah.
Cold exposure is also a stress reducer. So if I'm doing cold exposure while grounding, I'm getting like a double stress reducer, which is a very good thing to do right before the weekend comes in. A quick cold plunge with
How many times a week do you do this, by the way?
So I do a podcast once to twice a week. Sometimes I do it over Zoom. Sometimes I'll hop in the sauna if it's going to be too long or the ice bath is not available. And I'll usually do 2 to 3 cold plunges a week with cold showers daily or bi-daily.
Right. So I do the same thing. I do cold showers mostly, and then once or twice a week I do cold. I go in the ocean.
Right. Yeah,
Which
that's
is
the
probably
best.
this.
The
about
ocean
this
is best. Like
temperature.
Sarah, my wife, she surfs, so she say come on the ice, but she's like, I surfed 3 hours this morning. I got my cold exposure and my stress reducing. So we've spoken about the benefits of grounding, and now we're just gonna, before he turns into an icicle,
Yeah, I'm getting a little
we're just
cold.
gonna dive into the ways you can ground. So number one is obviously, as we discussed, stepping your bare feet or bare paws on earth. Now let's pretend grounding is a hocus pocus and it doesn't exist. I can guarantee you, if you take your toes and wiggle them in the dirt every day, you're already doing something good for your health. You're in the sunshine, you're going outside, you're walking, you're moving, it's likely with your loved ones. So even if this whole podcast is bull beep, you should still go outside and wiggle your toes in the earth.
Wiggle your toes.
But there's studies that earthing and grounding, as in touching your toes to the earth, does help. Now I'm an office guy, I'm a 9 to 5 guy, that's exactly what I'm not. And I need to wear shoes, I need to wear clothes. So shoes, here, I'll let you explain this part.
Right. So I mean, the only way to conduct in the office other than digging a hole in the ground and exposing the floor to the ground, which is obviously not something that most people can do. Maybe crazy people like us would. I'm actually always dreaming to dig like in my house, like dig a little
patch, earthing patch,
earthing patch like yours, just have a little ground. Maybe put a tree in the middle of my house. But let's say other people that can't do it. They can, so they can take. There's earthing mats.
Correct.
That you can purchase.
Correct.
On Amazon or wherever you live, wherever you can purchase it. You connect it to a plug. It's a. I mean, I think you can test it the same way that we tested, the pool today.
Right.
Test it for yourself. I mean, I wouldn't take somebody's word. Take it, buy a voltmeter. You take a voltmeter, basically a voltmeter, connect it, and try to test it.
Right.
If it's grounding, you're grounded. That's it. That's as simple as that.
Right. So whatever. So to clarify for our viewers, I do want to differentiate between grounding by connecting your body or body parts to earth, or touching a tree, or touching something in the ground, versus grounding products which plug into an outlet. And that outlet, because it's an electrical outlet, is automatically grounded.
Well, it's grounded as long as
the
outlet itself is grounded.
If it has the 3 holes,
it's
connected.
Mean it's grounded? Usually, but you always have to test it. So
Correct.
I think those all those products come with a tester, and the tester will tell you if it's grounded.
Right.
There's no way to know unless you test it.
So I'm just clarifying it for our viewers, and then we'll unfreeze you. That there's touching your feet to bare earth, or touching your body to bare earth, or trees, or nature, or whatever it is. Then there's touching your body or body parts, such as a grounding pillowcase, grounding sheet, grounding linen, grounding mat, which is connected to an electrical outlet in the wall, which means you don't even have to go outside. And we already discussed and proved the benefits of grounding, so it's not, is this hocus pocus? It's, am I grounded or not? And that has to be tested.
Yeah,
and then there's the third element, which is your shoes, which is, I'm not grounding myself by connecting to a wall. That would be interesting to do. Hold a little portable charger the whole way.
Right.
I'm grounding myself through my clothing with the copper plug, because your shoe is all natural materials, which means nothing in the shoe is going to add more electricity to me. Is that correct?
Well, the shoe is made of conductive material, so the leather in the shoe.
So it's going to promote.
Right. So
it
allows any type of electrical flow through the copper and into the ground.
Got it.
In a sense.
Got it.
Right.
Okay.
Did I answer that correctly?
Yeah, it does. And
to your question.
yeah. There's 2 more case studies I want to add on this that I've discovered. One was done by the Barefoot Store Company here in Israel. They checked people's capacity to ground through different shoes and sandals and clothes, and they found that through clothes you want about 75% of your body exposed. But this was when it wasn't their feet. It was, let's say, an electrician is working with electricity. So I don't understand the major side. I'm not an electrician, but they wanted 75% of their body to be touching or covered with some sort of grounding material. So if there's any discharge from the work that they were doing, that would be absorbed through their garments that they're wearing into the ground. And another study that I discovered, it wasn't a study, it was like speaking to someone, was I had Ron Cohen on my podcast, who's a famous barefoot runner here in the Israel world. He was in Yalom as well, and he was saying, Yalom is like the sappers unit, that when they would defuse bombs, they would also ground themselves, because they don't want any electricity running around. They would accidentally set off the bomb, which is all showing that grounding is really a thing. Now the last question for you before we unfreeze is, as a successful CEO, entrepreneur, someone who made a footwear company, travels a lot, so you're obviously a biohacker and a holistic person. That's the impression I get. How do you stay, besides eating a lot of protein, eating vegetables and limiting carbs, and grounding, and ice bathing, which is like, hell yeah. How do you stay fit? How do you stay healthy? Like, how do you do your regimen while you're just flying everywhere?
Right, yeah. So travel is always a challenge, I must say. I mean, the jet lag and the hour changes, it fucks with us all. Should I say?
It's all good. It's all good. We're adults.
Well,
if it offends you, I apologize.
No,
sorry.
Well, I'll say it again. You can edit it.
Try again.
Okay, so I'll do it again. You can edit it.
It's all good.
Should I say? I'll say it again. You can decide.
Be yourself.
All right. So it messes with you. So okay, travel is an issue.
I'm flying on Monday. I'm familiar. Yeah.
You know. It messes with your body. A great way to actually treat jet lag is there's 2.
Ground.
Yes, absolutely. Grounding is one.
Sunshine.
And sunshine. So we know the same.
Biohacker power.
Grounding and sunshine. 2 best hacks for jet lag and getting back into the rhythm of whatever time zone you're in.
Yeah.
Those are the 2.
Yeah. When it comes, sorry, I totally interrupted.
No. Go ahead.
When it comes to beating jet lag, you have to just understand that jet lag is also associated with flying, and flying is the ultimate non-grounding, because you're flying in a box that's full of everyone's electricity from their phones and their ions and their Bluetooth and their headsets and the plane,
Right.
and you are so far connected from the ground.
Also radiation.
Right, so all this like electricity and static is sitting in you, and if you go home without doing anything, no grounding, no sunshine, you're literally trying to sleep, but you're a box of inflammation. So putting the jet lag aside, besides the fact your body's not sleeping, which is increasing inflammation even further, you just picked up the ultimate inflammation, and it has to be dealt with. And if you wonder why you're not feeling good in your workout the week after flying, because you never dealt with it actively.
Absolutely, I totally agree with this. You asked me what else I do. So I've been doing yoga for like 20 years. Yoga is great for you. I mean, I obviously work out at the gym like most other people, so that's also great. Just be active, you know.
Yeah.
Just be active. Move if you can't go to the gym because you don't have access to it while you're traveling. Go just do some push-ups. Do anything. Just move your body. Stretch.
Move. Movement is key.
Movement. At the office, I have a treadmill. You know, that
walking treadmill.
Walking treadmill. Yeah, stuff like that. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, guys, this is
No
a guy.
secret.
This is a guy who's, how old are you, if I can ask?
I'm 43.
43 years old. Okay, so that's 43 years of experience. Who's not saying go hard and heavy at the gym. He's not saying go on the treadmill. He's saying move more. That's what he's implying. So if there's like one longevity secret, I mean, you look like you're 20 years old, but we could be the same age. I'm in my 20s.
Thank you. It's grounding.
The grounding, yeah, cameo. Anyways, his shoe is beautiful. In fact, can you get it for us so I can show it on video? Because it's just a really, really nice, there we go, little smooth thing. So I had the privilege to correspond with Ty here, and he sent me these shoes. He sent them to America, I believe, right? Even though they're you are Israeli. This is the shoe, dude. Like I'm biased, yeah, because like we're obviously affiliated. But this is a beautiful shoe. I mean, I have a few barefoot dress shoes, but the barefoot dress world hasn't killed it yet. And this looks normal. In fact, when I went to an event a few weeks ago, when I was like first trialing it, I asked people like, hey, what's up? And no one like always showing his barefoot shoes. No one noticed, which is saying something for like the everyday worker who wants to ground and get the benefits in the copper plug. I'll make sure to drop the link below, of course, in the show notes. But still wants to do this like classy loafer, and Ty here was telling me that they're even working on an even better model, which is it's going to be more aesthetic or more grounding or both.
So we're working on a few ideas, but for these ones, we're perfecting the shape. So I was just now at the factory where we make these.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I mean, you did mention something, but it's all handmade. Everything in the shoe is completely handmade.
Yeah,
and
amazing.
there's photos.
I mean,
and
you can
videos.
see the stitches. I mean, look at this.
Right, we have our guys, stitching it by hand.
That's
Everything is
awesome.
made by hand. So what we improved, we had so we're trying to accommodate this to a larger audience.
Mm-hmm.
We're tweaking the shape slightly. We're giving a little bit more. So we're narrowing it actually in the heel a little bit and reshaping the front of it. So it's gonna be it's virtually the same. You won't really see a difference visually, I think, from these ones, but it's gonna fit way better than it fits right now.
Amazing.
So that's our first step. And then I mean there's a lot of other
Sandals
products.
coming up.
Sandals coming up, men's sandals. Right now we have women's sandals. Men's sandals are coming up, and we're gonna have sneakers and a whole lot of
The whole 9 yards. This is the point
products.
when he starts shivering.
Yes.
And it's like, good products. That's the podcast has come to an end. So, thanks so much everybody for tuning in. It's really a privilege to have you here today.
Thank you for
We're gonna hop in the sauna, warm up a bit. Then we're gonna hop back in the cold because cold, hot, cold.
All right.
And that's all for now. So thanks for coming on the show. I'll make sure to drop the grounds link below, and we have some juicy discount code we can hook up for our listeners.
Absolutely.
And that's it. So have a good one and have a good weekend. Stay safe, stay loving, stay cold, and peace out.
Woo.